What's up, guys? It's Danny from the Lazarcast.
And Shudder.
And we are back home in New York after a week in Hollywood, California. I am a basic bitch wearing my Universal Studios Hollywood shirt. And finally got Charlotte to watch one of my all-time favorite horror movies tonight.
Demon Night.
Tales from the Crypt. Demon Night. Say all the words. Put some respect. Ow. Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night. I actually reviewed this movie for our channel last year in February as part of our Horror Noir month. And the movie is on Shudder. And
it's leaving.
It is leaving soon. So if you have Shudder, go watch Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night. Also, I have down there, I showed Charlotte, I just got a brand new, I think it's Scream Factory Blu-ray, which has a ton of special features. I even have an old VHS copy of this movie because that's how long I've been a fan of this movie.
Used to stay up every Saturday night till 12 to watch the show.
Yeah, I was telling Charlotte, like, part of the reason that I love horror so much is because of the show that was on midnight on Fox when I was a kid, and it was Saturday night, and I would stay up till midnight, long after my parents went to sleep, and I'd sneak out of my room, because believe it or not, I'm old enough to have lived in a room without TV, and I would sneak into the living room and watch Tales from the Crypt. They would very often find me sleeping on the couch Sunday morning. Yeah. I was going to say, you don't have a TV in your room now.
Yeah, I don't have a TV.
But what do you have?
I have a phone. Yeah,
she has a phone that allows her to watch whatever she wants, whenever she wants, all hours of the night. So your childhood's a little different than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also you grew up in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah,
And I'm growing.
You're growing.
I'm growing, guys. I'm growing.
Who are you, Gru from Despicable Me?
No. Anyway.
Anyway. So, actually, our last day in Hollywood, which was yesterday, we took a red-eye...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
We took a red-eye midnight flight. We checked out of our hotel at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, and we literally spent an entire day just driving around LA, finding things to do to kill time before we had to drop our rental car off.
And we spent like 3-4 hours in the airport.
More than that. We got to the airport at 7 o'clock, and our flight left at midnight. That's 5 hours.
I know, but it went by so fast.
Did it? All right. Yeah.
Like...
You'll get mad at me, but I did have a few drinks at the hotel, at the airport bar. Ow. Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night. Why do I bring up our Hollywood vacation? Because we went to the Hollywood Museum at the Max Factor building, the old Max Factor building, which is literally, it was about a 5-minute walk from where we were staying. It's right off of Hollywood Boulevard, on Highland Boulevard, and North Highland, and Hollywood Boulevard, the Hollywood Museum. And they had a ton of cool stuff. They had an entire floor dedicated to Ghostbusters and Back to the Future. But in the basement, they had...
Of course, the basement.
Of course. A full horror exhibit, including...
And when you first walk in...
yeah.
You wanna...
I was just going to say, they had like the full... prison, like where Hannibal, where Hannibal
Lecter prison
was in Silence of the Lambs, like deep in the institution.
It has a giant room with like one dedicated
really cool.
room.
The reason we bring this up is because, as you were saying, when you first step into the room, the first thing you see is a little poster saying like "Welcome to the horror place in Demon Night." It has like the Demon Night host. Yeah, the Crypt Keeper's there, and the full movie poster of Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night. It's like the first thing you see. And I was like, this is a sign from the demons above, or below, the demons below, that we need to talk about this movie. And you finally, I've been trying to beg Charlotte to watch this movie for so long. This movie came out at a time in my life where, like, From Dusk Till Dawn had just come out. This movie comes out, or they came out like right after one another, and
I was so into this style of movie with like kick-ass action heroes in horror movies. Which character did you like right away?
I immediately liked, how do you say her name?
Jeryline.
Jeryline.
Yes.
I have no idea how to say
Played
it.
by Jada Pinkett, before she was Jada Pinkett Smith, in just an absolutely awesome final girl performance. And what did you say to me before? How did you, because when the movie starts, she's not even like a main character, but you kind of knew right away that she would be an important character.
Her attitude, her looks, and the way she speaks and moves, I kind of had a feeling she was going to be one of the main roles. When it was finally down to like the last 5 or 4 people, I immediately knew it was going to be her.
Yeah, she just has this look. She has like the short blonde hair. She's wearing like, you know, the undershirt and the jeans. She's got this like kick-ass attitude, and she was funny, and I also loved Irene, the owner of the hotel, who gets her CCH Pounder, the actress, who gets her arm ripped off, and she's just, every line out of her mouth is really funny, really sarcastic.
She literally sacrificed herself. But why did Bob have to sacrifice himself? She was the one wearing the bomb vest.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like he went out in a moment of solidarity with her. In other words, like, I don't want you to go alone, so I do love the two of them together.
They're like
I wanted to ask you, what did you think of the gore in this movie? Because this movie very secretly, like, nobody talks about this movie for how gory and gross it is. So what did you think about some of the gore effects in it?
Well, some of the gore effects, like the beginning scene, the first gore scene.
Oh.
It was like a jump scare.
What does he do?
One. Like, it just, which guy was it? Oh, the demon, the main demon was just like, you know what? I'm done playing pretend. And like takes off his glove and like pounds the first cop in the head, the sheriff.
He pounds him through the head, through the face. Oh, yeah. That was like, I remember when I was probably just a little older than you. This movie came out when I was about 13. And I remember when I saw that, that was one of like the, you know, like they say jump scares.
I'm really bad because I thought it was made in like the late 70s.
I'm not that old.
No, I mean, I'm not. I thought the show was that old, and you just skipped it and watched it.
Okay, so here's the thing. Tales from the Crypt. You know how Danny in the movie is reading the comic?
Yeah.
So Tales from the Crypt was part of a series of horror comics that came out in the 60s and 70s. And they actually made a movie in 1972, I believe, called Tales from the Crypt. It was a British movie about these 5 people who get lost in a tomb, and they find this guy who tells them stories, and it turns out it's stories for each one of them about some horrible thing they did that got them there, and they're really in hell.
It's like Jigsaw.
Well, except it's like he's supposed to be like the devil. So that idea of like short stories, like an anthology, that became the Tales from the Crypt TV show that I used to stay up to watch. And then this was the first idea that they had to take the TV show, which was a 30-minute show with one short episode, and extend it out into a movie. And I thought this did a great job. They tried making Tales from the Crypt movies after this, and they're not that good. The one that followed this, Bordello of Blood, is really not that good. Let's put it this way. As a horror dad, I rushed. This was like priority movie for me. I have to get Charlotte to watch this movie. After this, I will gladly get into the show with you. Let's watch all the episodes of the show because they're fantastic. And they're short. They're like 30 minutes. The gore. Billy Zane. What did you think of Billy Zane? The demon knight, the villain.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah.
It's the perfect villain. It's like that villain who's just like, he reminds me kind of like of an evil like the genie from Aladdin if he was evil.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's good.
I made
Because
something up.
because he's like offering people like I could grant all of your wishes for you. All you have to do is, you know, let me in, give me like your soul, let me take over. And
evil genie.
Yeah. He does that with Willie. He does that with Cordelia. He possesses them and then uses them to.
Kind of does that with
Danny at the end.
Jeryline?
Jeryline. Well, he tries.
He tries, but she fights back.
Yeah, she spits in his face. Blood. And then, which is actually a setup for the end when she spits the blood.
I knew she was holding blood in her mouth because it was dripping.
It is kind of obvious, yes. I really like the backstory also about the key. Like, the whole idea of this movie is that...
Is that what really happened to Jesus?
The collector, Billy Zane, is chasing William Sadler, who has this key. And the key is filled with what we find out is blood. And it's blood passed down from Jesus on. Whoever is in control of the key keeps refilling it when it's time to pass the key on. Which is why I think this is a perfect movie to get a sequel. And, you know, I'm going to tag...
One second, let me just check you real quick. Okay.
Okay, yes, with the Roku one. I'm going to tag the director of this film, Ernest Dickerson, on Twitter. And he's not going to pay attention. Ernest Dickerson has plenty of more things to do than pay attention to this video. But if he should watch it, I implore you, sir, what a great time it would be to make a sequel to this movie with an adult... with not an adult. She was an adult in this movie, but with Jada Pinkett now, you know, after all these years, after 1995? I can't do math. Is it 30 years yet since 1995?
30, 35, 40. Who cares?
Bring her back. Put her in the William Sadler role as the person who has to, you know, is being chased by a collector and who has to pass the key to some new final girl. I think that would be so awesome. I would love to see a sequel to this movie. And yeah, and also every time I mention this movie, you gotta talk about the soundtrack. The movie opens with Hey Man, Nice Shot by Filter. The soundtrack opens with Cemetery Gates by Pantera. It's freaking great. Do you have any final thoughts on...
Well, I did make a connection.
Oh, yeah. What did you...
I said... You remember, like, a few minutes ago, I put the remote in my dad's head? Here, let me check you. Because, the main guy checks... I think it was Danny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Danny or Willie.
And the cat, right?
And the cat. To check if they were any of the demons. And I was like, oh my god, this is just like the testing blood scene from The Thing.
Yeah. Also, it's very similar to The Thing in that it's a bunch of people in one location who are kind of stuck there. They can't get out.
Very gory.
There's tons of gore.
And there's lots of headless people.
And the monster, in this case, the Demon Knight, Billy Zane, is trying to possess and take over all the characters, which is kind of what The Thing was trying to do in The Thing. So yeah, it's not a bad comparison at all. And it makes me very proud of you that you can make that comparison without me forcing it. All right. Well, I'm super excited that Charlotte finally agreed to watch Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. And we just came back from Los Angeles. What did we do in LA? Where did we go?
Universal.
I know we went to Universal.
Oh, sorry.
What videos did we make?
Oh, we went to the Myers house, the Nightmare on Elm Street house.
Oh, yeah, look, they're hanging out right over there behind us. Oh, and they're right up here, too. Michael and Freddie.
They're hanging out.
We went to the Myers house in Pasadena, California.
We went to the Doyle house.
We also went to the Doyle and Wallace houses out there, but we took a video from in front of the Myers house. We also went to 1428 Elm Street, the Nightmare on Elm Street house.
A street called Elm Street.
There was.
But it was way far away.
Yeah, the Elm Street house is actually 1428. I think it's North Genesee Drive or North Genesee Avenue. But yeah, it's there. It looks exactly the same. The only difference is they painted the door.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a big sign. There's also a big sign that's like, if you step foot on this property, we will, you know, yeah, they have a security system. I bet they're sick and tired of people filming and taking pictures there.
We were ready to leave the Myers house, and we were like, oh, remember that skeleton? Bye, skeleton. And then my dad was like, and then you were like, Shar, go a little that way. And I was like, what do you mean? It's just a skeleton. Oh my God, there's a Michael Myers in the tree.
Yeah, in the background, behind the Myers house, there's a second house there that I guess has like art and has like a little gallery. And they have a skeleton up in a tree. And then literally just a few feet over, there's a Michael Myers, full Michael Myers sitting in the tree that you don't notice at first. And when you see it, it makes you go like, whoa. But yeah, we had a great time in LA. We did go to Universal. We did go to, we got to see the Psycho house in Universal.
Oh yeah.
We got to see the shark from Jaws come up out of the water at us.
I remember that from 2016 though.
Yep.
I definitely remember that.
We went on the Warner Brothers tour as well, and we got to see some more.
I was like, when I heard the Warner Brothers, I was like, they're a band. I know they're a band. It sounded like a band.
No, not.
You can't lie.
We're the Warner Brothers. No. Oh my God. All right, guys. Well, stay tuned. Pete and I, over on the Comic Books Transform channel, Pete and I have been covering Raised by Wolves, an amazing sci-fi show on HBO Max, and that actually sets us up for what we're going to be doing in March. Friend of the channel, David Weiner, is going to be back next week. We're interviewing him again because In Search of Tomorrow is coming out. No, you'll like it. Trust me. In Search of Tomorrow, a almost 5-hour documentary about 80s science fiction. So if you love horror, science fiction is right next door. And this is the guy who directed In Search of Darkness 1 and 2. I'm sure Aliens is in it. I know Terminator is in it, 1984. Predator is in it. I mean, those are science fiction movies that toe the line of horror. So Pete and I are going to be covering the film. We're going to have David Weiner back on as a guest to interview. And all March long, Pete and I are going to be reviewing and discussing in detail science fiction horror films, including many of the ones covered in Search of Tomorrow, which covers 5 hours worth of 80s science fiction. So this has been Danny
and Charlotte
from the Lacercast back in New York, and we're tired and we're going to bed.